Think about going about your daily life like any other person, and then you meet someone who makes you stronger than you ever thought possible. The story starts in a certain place where a man named Kanata is gathering things for his small collections. It starts to rain all of a sudden, and his friend Tokyo, who is nearby, tells him they need to leave. But Kanata doesn't answer because he is interested in a young woman who is asleep among the ruins while he is collecting. Soon, Tokyo joins him, and the two of them figure out that the woman is a magus. They are amazed by its unique shape, since they have never seen another magus like it. Before they can decide what to do, some tripods come out of nowhere and start attacking them. Kanata tells his friend that leaving her there would be dangerous. Tokyo calls Mountain and tells him to send the coffin, which is a suit that drifters use to fight. Tokyo quickly mounts it when it gets there and gets ready to attack the tripods. But Kanata starts to pull Lady Magus to safety while Tokyo hides him from the bad guys. Tokyo starts to say something, but more tripods keep coming in. When Kanata gets into the carrier with the magus, he pulls away, trying to get away from the scene while Tokyo covers him. The tripods keep going after them, and Tokyo's machine gun quickly runs out of bullets. He has to switch to a stronger weapon that fires rockets at the tripods and destroys them all, and so they go on. It takes a long time, but they finally get home in blue schist. Tokyo goes to sell the huge treasure he found on his trip with Kanata and the other people the next day. At the end, his main rival, Michael, gets mad at him, and Tokyo makes fun of him by telling him that his prize is bigger than his and that he is the winner in terms of size. Tokyo gets paid soon and tells everyone to meet him at the bar. Soon after, Kanata takes Magus, who is asleep, to his apartment to try to figure out what's wrong with her, but as soon as he presses a button on her, all of her clothes fall off, which makes him feel bad seeing a naked woman. Soon, two women show up at Kanata's apartment. Ellie asks him if this is how he plans to let Tokyo go off on his own, since he won't have any money by the time Tokyo comes back. But he tells her that he has tried 100 times to stop him but has failed. Ellie tells him that they tried to get him to join their team, Adventure, 101 times but failed. She thinks that this time will be different. She also tells him that staying with Tokyo is not an option and that he should join the adventure and be paired with the Magus so he can fly the newest coffin. She asks him if he would love to be a drifter, but he says he's not good enough and won't join her again. Then the other woman runs to his room and is shocked to find a naked woman lying on the bed. She doesn't know what happened. She joins in to take a look and screams when she sees the woman. Kanata tries to explain, saying he didn't do anything wrong and that he found her in ruins, but the Magus wakes up quickly and tells him she will take him to paradise next time, which breaks all of Kanata's defenses. Ellie, who likes Kanata, turns to leave. The other woman follows her and tells her she should have quickly pinned him down. Ellie starts to cry at that point. At the same time, Kanata walks up to the Magus and says hello. The next day, at the dome, it is announced that Enders will not be attacking, so drifters can journey safely that day. From a rooftop, an old guy and a young boy look out over the city. The boy then sees a flash of red light and starts to wonder if he really saw something instead of hearing the statement. At the same time, they don't know that a tripod has broken into the area where he is hidden. The Lady Magus meets Kanata while he is washing, and she starts to ask him questions that show she is stupid and doesn't know anything, not even herself. He tells her that he is a collector and that he would love to one day go to his store, which is a story about a city called Paradise that lived before the tears of the new moon. He also says that some people think it's just a story, but he thinks it's true. The next scene shows Kanata and Lady Magus riding in the carrier on their way to see Maria, a master tinkerer who is thought to know a lot about Magus and could have information about the unknown Magus. As they get closer to Maria's house, a rocket is fired at them, but Kanata avoids it. The Lady Magus asks him what it is, and he says it's Maria's way of saying hello. When he gets to Maria, she makes fun of the woman he brought with him, which makes him feel bad. Kanata says that the Magus doesn't know her name, can't do anything right, and isn't as strong as other Magus as they talk about her. When Maria hears this, she sends 3 Magus to check her out for any problems. They quickly find that she is in good health. They talk, and she asks what a Magus is. They tell her that they are people who help people. Kanata gets an E alert out of the blue, and a bunch of Enders rush toward Rocktown. Rocktown starts to fight back, trying to keep the Enders from getting into the city. But the Enders don't give up, and they soon get into the city. The moment Kanata sees this, she acts quickly, and Lady Magus follows him. At the same time, Rocktown starts to launch a number of machines at the bad guys. Soon, Michael shows up as a representative for the Avengers, and he mounts his coffin to help the machines fight the Enders. As he fights and damages the invaders, he wonders how the Weather Office missed this coming swarm attack. One of his subordinates tells him that someone must have called them from a long way away, suggesting that it was Tokyo and Kanata. Tokyo shows up and joins the fight as well. Ellie calls out to them from another part of the dome, needing help right away. Michael tells her that they'll come as soon as they clear out where he is, but Ellie yells that they can't stop now because she isn't being attacked by the Enders, while she is having a hard time fighting the Enders. Kanata steps in and hits them with his carrier. She tells him to leave when she sees him because he is not a drifter and might get in the way and make them turn around. She also says that Michael is already on his way, which makes Kanata mad and makes her leave right away. He goes back to his flat and looks at his coffin, which is still. He tells the Magus that Ellie doesn't know that 3 years ago he took the adventure test and was told he wasn't good at it. That's when Tokyo took him in and told him that people who really want to become drifters should do it their own way. He then gets up on top of the coffin and tells the Magus to wait for him while he goes to attack the Enders. As Ellie fights the Enders, a very large and strong one shows up and doesn't seem to be hurt by any of her hits. At the same time, Kanata, who is now in a coffin, shows up on the scene and starts shooting at the big end while telling himself he can do it. However, because he doesn't have a Magus with him to help him, his strikes are rough and not well planned. As soon as the strong Ender comes up behind him, he hits him hard and crashes into the wall. He starts to question whether he really can't do this. He then sees Lady Magus running toward his grave. He tries to stop her, but she tells him to open the coffin and let her in. She comes in quickly, and her name shows up in the system as Noir. After that, she starts to help him. Tokyo's Magus asks him if he won't help his friend, but he says that he doesn't want to get in the way of Kanata becoming a man. He reads the enemy's moves with the Magus' help and dashes at it, avoiding all of its attacks. He finally gets a good hit on the Ender, which kills him. When the other Enders see that their boss is dead, they start to run away, but the other coffins catch them and kill them. After seeing what his friend did, Tokyo is proud of him, and Kanata quickly learns that the Magus' name is Noir. The next day, Tokyo, Kanata, and Tokyo's Magus, Mountain, look at Kanata's broken grave. He tells him that the joints are broken because of heat and pressure, which makes him think that the coffin must not have been able to keep up with Noir's quick movements. As a surprise, Tokyo tells Kanata that Noir might be one of those Type Zeros they hear about. After that, he asks if he means the amazing Magus from before the crash. Tokyo tells him that he can't be a drifter with the old coffin, but Kanata says he doesn't have any money to buy parts. Maria, on the other hand, pulls up in her carrier with some coffin parts and tells him that he should go out and look for loot like drifters do. She offers to give him some parts, which he respects. He then asks her where he can find other important coffin parts, and she tells him that he can get them by going back to the ruins where he found Noir. In fact, she tells him that he might find Noir's body there and be able to remember her. They go to the place where Noir was found that night. As Maria scans the area, she soon gets a signal telling her where Noir's box is, so they go there right away. The moment they get there, they see a big box. Kanata asks Noir if she remembers anything, but Noir says she doesn't. Soon, they find a code on the body of the coffin that tells them it is a mage. They now know that Noir may be a Type 0 Magus, just like they thought. Soon after, they see a word called Pascal, which Noir still can't remember when asked. Maria finds an old, broken camera and thinks it might have records of Noir's master on it. After that, Ellie and Magus go to Maria's base and are talking when they hear a strange noise coming from a long way away. They quickly go to see what it is. They find out that the carrier is a member of the Baccarat Nest Nibiola family. As they start to think about why they're there, they are shocked to see the former second in charge of Wrong Game Adventure. While this is going on, Kanata and Tokyo return to the nest. When they get off their carrier, Maria is told that the Magus she asked for has come. which surprises Kanata, who wonders why she got a different magus. Soon, she turns on the magus by reading her fingerprint on her neck. The magus then starts calling her master. Mountain tells Noir that this is how maguses make a deal with their masters that they can't break. After getting the broken camera from the ruins, Kanata gives it to Noir while his friend drags him away to go drink with him at the bar. Not long after that, Mountain starts to clean up the area. After that, Noir asks him where she should put the camera Kanata gave her. He tells her to put it on the table in the back room. She slips and almost falls as she tries to get to the back room. The camera almost flies out of her hand, but Mountain quickly grabs it and saves her. After that, he quickly cleans up the whole area while Noir just stands there and watches. After a while, he's done, and Noir asks him how she can do what he does. He surprises her by telling her that all magus can do those things. Adding to that, he says, maybe after she remembers. She looks at the camera in her hands. Kanata hesitates as he follows Tokyo to the bar because he wants to go home. Tokyo tells him to come along so he won't worry about Noir regaining her memory and going back to her master once she does. But Kanata says she doesn't think that way. Later, a Rangus magus called Dulce is seen eating fresh food in the bar. Everyone is jealous of her because they haven't had such fresh food in a long time. When she realizes that two men are jealous of her, she walks up to them, feels bad for the food they're eating, and offers to give them her food. They happily accept the offer. Then she gets her plate and puts it on the floor for them to eat while calling them underdogs. They are offended and try to hit her, but Tokyo stops them quickly, kicks the food off the plate, and eats it while it's still in the air. When Dulce sees this, she tells him she'd be happy to show him around the circus and asks if he knows about the baccarat nest. After a while, Rain shows up and asks Dulce what she's doing alone. He sees Tokyo and greets him, but Tokyo acts like he doesn't know him. Then Kanata quickly tells him it's not the right day and makes him act like he remembers. She calls him the guy who was kicked out of Rock Town by Michael for stalking Maria and making him feel bad about it. This makes him mad. He is proud of the fact that he is now an important person in the backyard nest. Then Ellie walks up to him and talks to him. He starts to pick on her, and Kanata steps in, but he insults her for not being a drifter. Ellie tries to defend him by saying he's great and now has a magus, but Range says the magus is lucky to have such a jerk as a master and during Kanata, which is not true. Ellie keeps defending him, but Range keeps insulting him by saying that Kanata got the worst score on the quest test. He then tells him to give up his new magus so that we can find a better master for it. Michael will soon be there, and Mountain leaves right away. After a while, Tokyo is happy for Kanata because he is now a drifter. But Kanata lowers the bar in private because he is sad and goes home. When he gets home, he starts fixing the broken coffin right away with Mountain's help. He tells Noir, who wants to help, to stay put because working on the coffin could be dangerous. Kanata goes to sleep after a long day of work, and Noir leaves. He wakes up quickly and finds Noir nowhere to be found. At the same time, Ellie is upset because Kanata failed the adventure ability test because of her. Her magus tells her she should go see him. Kanata stops them on the way to his place because he is worried about Noir and can't find her anywhere. He thinks she must have gone to find her master and learn about her past. After that, they all start looking for her together. Dark Noir, on the other hand, looks for someone in the city who can fix the camera. As she walks by Range, he quickly runs over to talk to her and asks what she looks for. While Noir asks him to fix the camera, he quickly realizes that she is Kanata's and tricks her into following him by saying he knows someone who can fix it. At the same time, a guy on a rooftop looking over the city sees them and tells Kanata right away. He doesn't go after them, though, because he feels bad about not being a good master and thinks Noir should find a master who is better than him. Ellie tries to convince him that Wrong Gate must have tricked Noir, but Kanata tells her that he is awful because he never even wanted Noir to remember, so she won't leave him for her master. But Ellie keeps telling him good things. Then, out of the blue, Tokyo shows up in his coffin and tells him they need to go get Noir back. He agrees right away. Range is happy that he was able to trick Noir. which will make his boss very happy. This is happening in the back of the truck. Noir is in another part of the carrier with some other Maguses. Seal, one of them, sits down next to her and asks who she is. Noir tells Seal who she is and shows her the camera. She then asks her to fix it. After that, Seal checks the camera and sees that it's not broken, but the battery is pretty low. Noir asks how to fix it, and Seal uses her fingers to make electricity, which charges the camera and turns it on. Noir asks Seal what she did, and she tells her that she should be able to do it too. Then all of a sudden, an alarm goes off, warning of an approaching danger. Range sees that it's Tokyo and Kanata and starts to attack them, but they block all of his threats. Tokyo gets off the rocket and starts attacking the other coffins that were sent to fight them. Kanata, on the other hand, goes to save Noir by going to the carrier. Soon after, he lands on the back of its carrier, but Wrong Day gets dressed in his coffin and challenges him. He puts out a hit on Kanata and tells him that he can't do much without Maria's help. He starts to scold him, telling him it's a waste that Noir in the coffin is in his care. He then tells him to give up the coffin too, and he will let him live. Instead, Kanata says no and says he will go home without Noir because he made the box for her. While this was going on, Noir was listening to them talk from inside the carrier. When she heard this, she felt a rush of electricity and ran out to help him right away. When Range sees Noir coming, he is shocked and wonders how she got away. He then hits Kanata's coffin off the moving carrier. Noir quickly jumps after it, though, and locks herself into Kanata's coffin, turning it on. Wrong Day keeps attacking, but Kanata effortlessly avoids all of them with Noir's help. Soon, Kanata attacks and takes away Range's coffin's weapons, removing its arms and legs to make it useless. Range thinks that his junior coffins will help him, but he finds that Tokyo and Michael have destroyed all of them. He and his Magus are able to get away. Noir then shows Kanata the camera and tells him that Seal fixed it. Kanata checks it out and finds that it is empty. He tells Noir that they will help her remember things and take her to her master when he sees this. She asks him, though, if she really has to leave. Kanata asks her if this wasn't why she tried to fix the camera, but she tells him that she did it because she didn't want to be useless and unable to help him with anything. So she wanted to get her memory back so she could do all of his jobs. Kanata is shocked. This makes her neck ready for him to put his finger on so he can be her master. Still shocked, Kanata takes off his glove and puts his finger on her neck to make her his Magus. Once the repairs to the coffin are done, Kanata tells Tokyo that he feels like a drifter again after signing a deal with Noir as Magus. It looked like Kanata had failed the drifter's test 3 years ago. Tokyo says that Kanata has grown up and become more strong than he was before. He thought Kanata could become even more manly, so we planned to take her to Desire, a place where she could do just that. Elise is going to see Kanata down below. Kanata was requested to work with Ellie on the job that her uncle had given her. Ange says that Kanata and Ellie will be going on a date together because of their jobs. While Ange and Ellie are on their way, they get a message telling them that that night there will be an Ender's storm. It seemed like the message told them to be careful and stay safe. When Ellie gets to Kanata's house, she is surprised to see only Noir there. Before she could ask what was going on, Noir showed her a message that Tokyo had left in the air. Tokyo had taken Kanata to Desire to play Boing Boing. This shocks Ellie. Kanata agreeing to go to that place surprised her. Noir wants to know what it means to play Bok Bok. Ellie lies and says it wasn't anything bad. Ange could tell Ellie was jealous because of the look in her eyes, so she didn't wait to ask about it. Noir and Ange are told by Ellie to get Kanata's box and put it in the carrier because she is mad. Ange still doesn't know where they're going, so she asks Ellie. Ellie tells her that they have to pick up Kanata first because they have to do the job her uncle gave her. At the same time, Kanata and Tokyo look like they know Desire well. The city of pleasure is Desire. It's a paradise on earth where you can get anything you want. The name of the place comes from the things that people did there. Tokyo tries to cheer Kanata up when he sees that he doesn't like being in Desire. Kanata grabs Tokyo and gives him a hard shake while telling him he's sorry for making his dreams bad. Kanata feels let down that Tokyo could take him to this place. As Tokyo tries to beg, he says that he only wanted to celebrate Kanata's first time as a drifter, and that the city of pleasure was the best place for it. Since it was Kanata's first time, Tokyo promised to take him to the best place in the city. Kanata says that he doesn't agree and that his first should be with someone he loves. This doesn't make sense to Tokyo, that Kanata's first date should be with a business person. He says Kanata has to leave because she knows Tokyo is being serious when he says this. Tokyo takes Kanata to a store that he thinks is one of the best in Desire. Some women leave the store to help Kanata get to the front desk. While Kanata is stuck, Tokyo doesn't help. Instead, he goes off to find a fun shop somewhere else in the city. The women agree that Kanata looked cute right before they took him to their guest house. Tokyo runs into Mountain while walking around. Mountain told Tokyo to wait in the carrier. He starts running almost right away to get away from Mountain because Mountain won't let him have any fun with him together. Mountain goes after Tokyo right away. The two men kept running around the city. Tokyo thought that his red-flagged babysitter was trying to ruin his fun, while Mountain saw the chase as a game of tag. Even though Tokyo is still running, he asks Mountain to stop following him, but his strict babysitter won't leave his side. Ellie is still shocked that her childhood boyfriend went to a place like the City of Pleasure as they travel there. She's sorry that she made Noir go with her. Noir asks Ellie why she was acting so scared. Ange says it was because her boyfriend's purity was in danger. Noir asks Ellie how important the past is to her and to other people. She tells Kanata that she grew up together and that he hasn't changed at all since then. Noir was sad because she had erased her hard drive and couldn't remember anything about her past. Eileen tries to make her feel better. Noir agreed to be Kanata's magus, so she thanked him. Ange lets Noir know that someone has shown up on the road while they are still talking. Ange gets off the carrier to see how the person is doing. It looks like the person is Schnee, who is also a magus and was out on the road at such an odd hour to meet up with her master. Ellie pointed out that there might be enders and bad guys on the way. She tells them how thankful she is that they drove her home. She finally tells Ellie where she was that night when she was asked. It sounds like she was on her way to meet her master, who had forgotten to bring her with him. Czech is shocked to learn that Schneemaster would take her to a place like Desire in the first place. It was most important to Ange that the Schneemaster made her call him my lord. Schnee says that her master is a guy who doesn't change and is also known as the Sword. Problem is that he can't defend his back, so they attack him from behind. Ellie speaks up and cuts her off. Schnee breaks the silence by asking Noir what her name is. She also says that Noir looked like the goddess or master that everyone had been looking for all along. Kanata meets a man in a mask while she is waiting. It looks like this is also the masked man's first time at the shop. The man told Kanata that he should take a deep breath and go to paradise with the goddess on his shoulder. Ellie sees some geysers and enders outside the city at the same time. The storm she had been told about was getting close to the City of Pleasure. Schnee is told to keep driving to the city by Ellie. While she and Ange get into their box, she tells Noir to make sure she gets to the city and finds Kanata before she leaves. Her other hope is that Noir will tell Kanata to come help her fight the enders outside. Schnee and Noir find Kanata when they finally get to the shop. Noir tells Kanata about the problem that is about to happen outside of the City of Pleasure. Kanata is shocked to see Noir at first. It makes him feel even more stressed to know that Ellie followed him to Desire. She tries to forget about it and goes down with Ellie. The man in the mask seemed to be Schnee's master, which was interesting. The man in the mask says he's sorry he didn't take her with him. On top of that, he tells Schnee to get the box so that he can help Ender. Once they are outside of the city, Ellie and Ange, her mage, work together to fight the enders. As more enders and geysers showed up, the job got more and more boring. At some point, she gets hurt, but Kanata saves her. Is shocked and happy at the same time that Kanata shows up. He came at just the right time, she says. After the fight, Ellie tells him that they had some things to talk about. Kanata gets tense because she already knows what the problem is. The fight between them goes on. Katara is told by Ellie to trap the enders while she shoots them. It looks like the job is getting harder and harder for Ellie and Kanata. The geysers were the most important thing. They were even bigger than enders and could fly. She tries to catch one of the geysers but gets stuck. Ellie quickly moves the fountain out of the way to help him. Then, out of nowhere, a snow-white corpse shows up. It looked like the man in the mask in Schnee. Both the fountain and the enders were easy for the snow-white coffin to destroy. They are shocked at how quickly and easily the snow-white box kills the beasts. Ellie says that the box for Snow White was much better than the one Tokyo used. They were amazed as they watched, even though they didn't know who was directing the coffin. After calling it the coffin's weak spot, she made sure to keep an eye on the back of it. Everything was finally over when Snow White's grave closed. There is no sound as it goes. The news has shocked and amazed both Ellie and Kanata. In the evening, Ellie tells Kanata about the job her uncle gave her. At first, Kanata doesn't want to take the job, but in the end, she agrees to do it with her. Since then, Tokyo and Mountain have been following each other around the city. He goes to see Mom because he wants to get better and stronger. Mom turns him down right away because she thinks he came for his usual tour fairy tale. But he tells her he wants to work out and asks her to help him get stronger with anything she knows. She tells him she has something for him, which makes him shocked and a little amused. In the next scene, Kanata goes to Tower Gorge, which is said to have a lot of enders that don't have anything to do with the weather. Tokyo tells him that the place is great because it will be full of bushes, so he can dig for wealth and get experience in battle at the same time. Kanata tells him that he needs to improve his own skills because he can't always depend on Noir and him. Tokyo cheers him on, which makes Kanata wonder why he is following along. Tokyo then tells him again that he needs to do this on his own. However, Tokyo tells him that he only came to kill time and that he won't get in the way. Noir is surprised when Kanata tells her that she only needs to do the bare minimum of guidance. He also tells her that he can't always count on her. At this point, Mountain tells them all of a sudden that the gods have given them a great chance to train quickly, because enders have shown up and are quickly coming. Kanata gets up right away and tells Noir that they are leaving. They quickly get into the box, and Noir tells him what's going on with the enders who are coming. Then he tells her to take a seat. As the enders get closer, he attacks, but to his surprise, they avoid them and start hitting his coffin from different directions, which throws him off balance. He is scared when Noir tells him that 2 enders are coming for the carrier. He calls out to Tokyo for help, but Tokyo doesn't respond well because he already told Kanata that he wouldn't get involved. Kanata loses it and starts to freak out as he shoots at the enders coming toward the carrier, but he keeps missing. Noir sees this and asks him if she should set the sights, but he says no and keeps shooting out of anger. Now that Tokyo knows his friend has lost it, he decides to help, but before he can do anything, they see enders being killed one by one and wonder where the attacks are coming from. Soon, they figure out that a coffin on a nearby mountain is to blame. Then, Kanata sees something similar to what he saw in Desire Nest. A ghostly human figure suddenly appears from the coffin and destroys all of the enders with firestorms. There is shock in Kanata's voice, and Mountain calls it a giant skill. Tokyo then says that only a Type 0 can use it. The strange box starts to go down the mountain, and Kanata runs to meet it right away. She thanks the person who used it for helping her. Then, a beautiful woman comes out of the coffin and walks up to him with her arms outstretched, as if she wants to shake his hand. But as he tries to shake her hand, she chokes him and tells him what a careless drifter he is for putting himself out there like a coffin rider he doesn't know. Tokyo shows up and tells the woman that Kanata is new and doesn't have much experience. The woman says that she could be his teacher, and Tokyo jokes that Kanata would love that because he likes the boing boings. A confident girl, a magus, shows up and holds Kanata's hands lightly, asking her master to join her. In the next scene, the woman says her name is Claudia and that Flam is her partner. After that, she says that as veterans, they help each other out when they need it, because that's how drifters do things. Even though Kanata is still thinking about this, Claudia moves closer to him and asks him if he wants to get rich quick. Tokyo then speaks up and says he would be willing to fall for the trap if this is a honeypot. Claudia then tells him that he promised not to get involved in anything. When she asks Kanata what he thinks of her offer, Kanata is not sure what to say, has asked her why a Type 0 woman with a lot of ability wants help from a flunky like him. She tells him that he will understand when they get there. She leads them to a place with lots of daisies and a big treasure that shines brighter than all of them. Moore runs off with the owl crystal phlegm, and Claudia tells the others that she found the treasure, but can't mine it because there are so many enders around. Mountain then tells them that the owl waves from a crystal this big are sure to attract a lot of enders. Tokyo asks her why she didn't just raise her shields and mine it that way. She tells him that she can't do it all by herself and needs Kanata to help her. She says they will share the prize 5,050 and tells them how much money they can make selling it because it is so valuable. Mountain looks at the work she has done so far to get the prize ready for mining and praises her. Tokyo, on the other hand, thinks this is too much stress and suggests that they just blow up the whole area, killing all the enders in it. But she says she can't because Plum really likes the area and she wants to leave it undamaged, even though she would have loved to. Kanata is moved by this, and he asks Noir, who is playing with Flam, if she is having fun. Noir tells him she doesn't know. She does tell him that she likes how pretty and white the flowers are, though. Kanata then calls out to Claudia and says he will follow through with her plan. After some time, they start to talk about their plan while they eat. Claudia lets them know that they will be working at night and that the enders will attack in 10 minutes. Once the owl wave shielding is turned off, then she says that one person will be at the main defense area keeping the enders out, and the other person will be digging for wealth in the coffin. However, there is a problem. Some enders can still get in through another point of entry, but no one is there to guard it, so Tokyo offers to do it. Claudia then says she will be in charge of the main defense, even though she isn't sure about her ammunition. Kanata will be in charge of the digging, but Kanata tells her that he will be the main defense while she takes care of the mining process because he is ready to use this as part of his training. Later, Flam tells Noir about her master's coffin and Kanata's coffin. She says that Kanata's coffin is like an ogre, which is known for having big horns and being very scary and strong. Noir finds it funny as she says the word over and over. Soon, Flam talks about the flowers, and then she leaves. Noir then sees an old woman and tells Flam that Schnee, Kanata, and the giant will protect her, which makes Flam wonder who she was talking to. In the next scene, Claudia meets Kanata, who is helping her take care of her box. She is amazed at how quickly he was able to fix it. He feels bad when she flirts with him and offers to pay him back in kind. When she asks him if he also does upkeep for Noir, he says he hasn't started yet. Kanata is shocked to learn that Noir is also a Type 0 Magus, just like Flam. Claudia tells him to keep Noir safe because some people really want to get their hands on a Type 0 Magus. Kanata asks soon why he wants to become a drifter because he talks less about his skills as a drifter than about his skills as a mechanic. He answers shyly that he has always wanted to see the legendary past. To his surprise, she finds this funny and tells him to live his life and fight however he wants as a drifter. Later that night, Kanata watches over the area while getting ready to fight any enders that come to attack. Soon, 8 enders came up behind them, and he started fighting them with Noir's help. He uses explosives to kill them and then realizes there are only 2 enders left. He strikes him so that he doesn't go after the first ender. One of them gets past him and heads for the mining area, but Tokyo shows up and expertly moves himself between the ender and its path. He has a tool to go after the first ender and quickly kills both of them. Kanata then goes back to find Claudia but can't find her and the treasure has already been taken. He thinks Schnee is trying to get away, but then he finds out she tricked them. She tells him she's sorry and needs the money to take care of Flam, which makes him sad. Flam thanks them for keeping the flowers safe and calls Kanata's coffin Daisy, which Noir finds funny. As Kanata thinks about what happened the next morning, Tokyo tells him that this is a typical thing for drifters to do and that it cost a lot to learn this lesson. But Kanata is happy because they have found something great, and Noir tells them that their coffin's new name is Daisy. Later, in an unknown place, the next scene shows a strange drifter trying to get away from enemy strikes. His coffin is hit, sending him tumbling to the ground. The bad guys' coffins walked up to the broken coffin and opened the section that held the Magus. Then some men showed up and took the drifter's Magus, leaving him to scream in pain. Kanata and Noir are walking through Rocktown together to get new supplies for their food printer. As they walk, some men start making fun of Kanata about the hot woman he met on his last mission. Kanata feels bad when he realizes that Tokyo lied about what happened. As he walks on, he is shocked to see the owl crystal they dug out at the Tower Gorge being sold off, while everyone looks at it with awe. Kanata finds out quickly that Claudia came to sell the crystal. He runs into Claudia and Flam outside after the deal is done. They ask him if he is still mad, but he tells them he is over it. Claudia then asks him if he would like to keep talking about his dreams over a meal, but he politely says no. She then asks him if he wants to learn how to be a great drifter from her, but he quickly tells her that he won't fall for her trick again. But she tries to get him to want to know how to be a better partner by asking him, but he says he doesn't want her help. She tells him and shows him that Magus and drifters become one through a deep link with the heart and body, which makes him feel bad. Then she tells him that he and Noir should go to Fez, which is the site of an old maze where they can become one on their first try. She also says that they can be together forever if they pick the same road and avoid getting hurt. When they get back to their base, Kanata thinks about what Claudia said and laughs at it. Noir then asks him if he's going to Fez, but he says no. This makes Noir ask him if he doesn't want to become one with her. He quickly tells her that he didn't mean that, and she moves closer and asks him to join her. He looks around to see how he can get out of this mess and sees a picture of his family. He says that one way to become one is to act like a married couple who has lived together for years. When she hears this, she tells him that they are going to be married from that day on. In the next scene, she starts to copy everything he does, which Tokyo finds hilarious when Noir tells him that she and Kanata are married. Noir keeps copying Kanata and almost goes into the bathroom with him. Kanata goes to sleep at night, and Noir comes in a while later and asks to sleep next to him, but he says no. She gets him to let her by telling him she wants to become one with him so they can be great partners. When she gets into the hammock to sleep with him, she starts to cuddle him, which makes him feel bad. Suddenly, the hammock breaks and they both fall to the ground. They fall asleep in that position, and when Ellie comes in the next morning with her Magus, she sees them sleeping together, which makes her angry. Noir wakes her up and tells her that she and Kanata are now married because that's the only way for them to become one. This makes her more envious because she thinks somehow they got together. Noir finds out that Ellie also wants to become one with Kanata and tells him about it, which makes Ellie feel bad. Tokyo gets ready to go get a drink, but Mountain stops him and tells him that Type 0 Magus has been attacked many times. After that, Kanata feels sad as he thinks about how much he wants to get stronger. When Noir sees him, she suggests that they go to the maze and the steps Claudia mentioned, telling him that she also wants to get stronger. After some time to think about it, they quickly get some day's yogurt and leave for Fez. Claudia is watching from afar and calls a man she doesn't know to let him know that it's now up to him since she got Kanata and Noir to go to Fez as he had asked. Tokyo and Mountain get a message saying that Kanata is on her way to Fez. Mountain thinks that Claudia must have gotten them to go. Ellie hears that Kanata and Noir went to Fez. When Magus tells her that it's the place where love blooms after two lovers finish the maze, it makes her sad. Tokyo tells them to go to the place because it looks like it would be fun. He also tells Ellie to call Michael and go with them. At Fez, Kanata and Noir get into their coffin and start to look around. As they do this, they are attacked by another coffin, which shocks Kanata, who doesn't understand why they are being attacked. He tries to run away, but another box quickly blocks his way. He avoids its strikes and hits it before getting away, but he knows there are more. Then they see some flying carriers falling into coffins. Kanata is shocked and still doesn't understand why they are being attacked. He tries to get away, but they quickly surround him. The coffins then try to open the room where Noir is, just like they did with the other drifter. This makes Kanata realize that they have been after Noir the whole time. As they are about to open it, Tokyo pops out of nowhere and beats the villain coffins around him to safety. As soon as Kanata sees him, she knows that Ellie and Michael have also come. Ellie asks him why he is in that place, but Michael cuts her off and tells her to ask the person watching from afar while he reveals her. He is shocked that she is the one who did it. Claudia starts to run away right away, but he is after her hard, and Tokyo tells him to make sure he pays her back. Kanata doesn't let Claudia run, no matter how fast she does it. Soon after she starts to chase her, Kanata throws a chain at her coffin and hooks her with it. He pulls her closer and asks her if she was really after Noir. She has no choice but to shine a bright light at him, which lets her get to the top of a nearby building and hide. Claudia soon tells them that her client was looking for a certain Type 0, so she set them up to check Noir too. Flam said that she was also checked and returned afterward. When he asks who the client is, she says she doesn't know, but that they have a lot of money, which is why she worked with them to make money to keep Flam going. Not long after, she sets off an illusion and hits Kanata several times, showing him what it means to be one with their magus as a drifter. Kanata tries to aim at her, but it's hard for him to tell who the real target is. He stops for a moment to think of a way to beat her. He remembers all of a sudden that the base of her coffin's gun is broken. He thinks that if he can aim at that, he can hit her. Noir and he talk about a plan, and then they start to look for a chance. After some time, Noir finally gets the aim right, and Kanata fires right away, damaging Claudia's box enough to kill her. When she realizes she is lost, she praises him, and he tells her about someone he knows who can fix her Type 0 magus for less money than she is spending now. At the same time, Kanata's friends keep fighting the bad guy tombs and almost get rid of them all, but they manage to get away in the end. Claudia also goes off with Flam, and she thinks she will run into Kanata and Noir again. When Kanata and Noir get back to the others, Ellie asks him to go on a date with her to finish the festivals, but he tells her that it's not possible because the maze was destroyed in the fight, which makes her sad. Is it possible for Kanata and Noir to fall in love with each other as they try to become one? Read on to find out. Please let us know in the comments if you want the next part by writing Noir. Don't forget to like this video and follow our channel too.